Stampin' Art Demonstrator, and today I'm making a box for some little tea light candles. And I've made this box before, but it was larger and it was one of my most popular YouTube videos. So this time, and it was a Christmas one, so this time I'm making it for the on-stage swaps. And I'm following my theme, if you've seen any of my other two boxes that I've been making. And I'm going to be using the waterfront stamp set again. I'm using this little circle, so I mean whatever circle stamp you have is going to work, because I'm just making my own DSP, which is Designer Series paper. And these are the colours I'm using this time. So Melon Mamba, Coastal Cabana and Pineapple Punch. I'm going to start with Pineapple Punch, and I have a piece of Whisper White here. I haven't told you the measurements. It is 5 1/4 by 4.5 inches, working in inches today. And all I'm going to do is what I've done before, is I'm just stamping randomly all over my Whisper White, and I'm making my own Designer Series paper. And because this is for a swap, I'm going to Telford on stage, and really we don't want to be using anything that we think might be retiring, and all of the Designer Series paper always retires, so I didn't want to use a paper that was going to retire. I decided I'd make my own. So here we go. I'm going to be using the Coastal Cabana next, and I'm just randomly stamping over my piece of paper and coming off the edges as well. And lastly, I'm using the Melon Mamba. So I brought my scoreboard in here, and I have my paper in. So this is the 5 1/4 inch side at the top here, and we're going to be scoring at 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/4, 3 inches, and 4 1/2. And then we're going to flip that over, and we're doing 3/4 of an inch on that side, and so 3 3/4 on that side, so that will leave 3/4 of an inch on that side as well. And that's all our scoring. Okay, so now I'm just going to burnish, fold and burnish all of my score lines. So I finished burnishing all my score lines, and I've brought my 3/4 inch punch in, and I'm going to put a half circle on one side. So just like this, I'm sort of eyeballing the middle of this 3 inch rectangle there and there, and that is just to make it easier to open your box. So the box is going to go over like this, and that'll just be easier to open. So that is now going to be the top of your box, and now we just have to do a little bit of cutting. So we're going to cut up all of these lines, all these score lines up to that first score line. We're going to do that on both sides. Turn that round and do it on the other side. And then these little bits here, these are all going to be flaps for our little box. So we just want to cut, so we're just sort of making little tabs. So we're just cutting little wedges off of each one of those, but we don't want to wedge any of these larger pieces because they are going to be the sides of our box. Okay, so I've done all my wedges now, and now what we need to do is, using some tear and tape, I'm just going to peel some off, tear it off rather, and I'm going to put it on all of these little tabs, and I'm putting a couple of pieces on each one. So it needs to go on all of these, all 6 of these tabs. Okay, so I finished putting my tear and tape on, and I'm just going to run over with my bone folder, and that just makes it easier to get the backing off. I've got these measurements from Pooh Tools, and I've adapted it to make it smaller because the original was for 4 tea lights and I just needed 2. And obviously the design's completely different. I mean, it was a few years ago that I saw this, and I'll try and link the Christmas one that I made before. Okay, so now we're going to put this box together. So it's going to be the base of our box, and we're just folding and lining up those corners nice and straight. And then pushing that down, and then these ones are going to come in here. So this is going to be the base of our box. And then we're going to do the lid exactly the same way. Okay, and that is going to be the lid of our box, and then it pops down like this, and it's a really lovely little snug box. Okay, so inside I decided that the bottom would look nice if it was a different colour. So using some Pineapple Punch cardstock, I've cut this little base and it's going to go in there. I'm just going to be gluing it in, and it's 3 inches by 1.5 inches, but I've just cut it a smidgen smaller so it will actually go into the box nicely. So it just lays in there nicely, just like this. And then we've got our little tea lights, and they slide in there nicely, and we can close it up. Okay, so I'm going to decorate the top. So these are the dies I'm using for my top decoration, and I have used them before on my previous on stage swap. This one's from the Stitched Shapes. It's the smallest circle. This is the layering circle, and these two come from the Stitched labels, I think it is, the Stitched labels. And I've cut them all out, and I'm using the same paper, the same colours that I've used for my box. So I'm using the same colours. So I've cut this the large one out with the yellow daffodil, no, it's not Daffodil Delight, Pineapple Punch, and then the Coastal Cabana, and then Whisper White, and my heart I've done in the Melon Mamba. And I've put a tiny mini dimensional, so it's not tiny, it's a mini dimensional on the back of the heart, and I'm putting that onto my smallest circle, just like this. And then on the back of that I've put one of the normal dimensionals, and I'm putting that onto my Coastal Cabana heart there. And then I'm putting some Tombow on the back of this one and putting that onto the little layering circle. I've used the same colours, but I've cut them out slightly differently, so I've put them in different combinations, so they're all different. All my tops are going to be different, and then that is just going to go on the top there. I'm just going to pop that on there with some Tombow. Try and get my heart straight. This is one of the others that I did earlier. How cute are they? I'm hoping that people are going to want to swap with me and they're going to like them. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.